Hello. Okay. Today's we're on Unit 3 still. Today is your Lesson 10 lesson. So you're going to want to open your book up to page 105. Page 105. And pause the video till you get that opened up and start there. All right. So today we're going to be talking about the third. So a couple days ago or last week we talked about solving with graphing. So that's one method. And then the last lesson was about substitution. I left myself enough room. Substitution. And today is your third and final method called elimination. Because the whole idea is that you're going to take two equations and you're going to either add or subtract them to eliminate one of the variables. So you're going to have two equations with two variables. You're going to eliminate one of them. So let's start with the bridge. Go ahead and see if you can combine like terms on each one of those and pause, take a second, figure those out, and then play. All right. So remembering combining like terms, if they have the same variable, you can add or subtract the coefficient. So 11s minus 2s is just 9s. You don't change the variable at all, you just do the operation. And number two, first off, you have these parentheses with a negative in front of it. So that negative is going to have to be distributed. So this would be a negative 4x plus 6y minus a 7x minus a 2y. That negative is going to go to both of them. Then combining the x's, since they're both negative, negative 7 and negative 4 is negative 11x. And then the y's, positive 6 and negative 2, or 6 minus 2 would be a positive 4y. Now, if you got the y's first and the x second, that's fine. And also, don't combine your x's and y's. Stop right there. Some people like to make that a negative 7xy or something. No, stop right there. Don't put your x and y together. So number three, if there's a positive in front of the parentheses, there's nothing really to distribute. That doesn't change that parenthesis. So this is just 8x minus 3y plus 3y minus 5x. And so 8x minus 5x, combine your x's, is 3x. Negative 3y and positive 3y, those are going to end up being 0y, but you wouldn't write 0 times y. 0y is just 0. 0 times anything is just 0, so the answer is just 3x. And then finally, if you're going to subtract in front of the parentheses, it has to distribute to both of them. 5x plus 4y minus 5x minus 7y. 5x minus 5x, again, that's that 0, so you don't need it. All you have to do is 4y minus 7y negative 3y. All right, good. All right, so we're not going to do the warm-up at the bottom of the page, so you can go ahead and turn to the next page. I'm now on page 106 at the top for Activity 1, and Activity 1 is going to walk you through exactly what we're doing with elimination. So here's the problem Diego has. Here's the work he did, and he got the right answers. So at the end, he would say the solution is 1, 2. But look at that and see if you can answer part A and part B. Pause for a second. So what Diego did was he took the two equations and he saw that there's a 4x and a negative 4x. So if he adds those together, it's going to eliminate those x's. When you have opposites, just like before, positive like we did in the warm-up, 4x and negative 4x is 0x or just 0. And that will eliminate that term. 3y plus 5y is 8y. 10 plus 6 is 16. So he's adding everything together, the x's, the y's, and the constants. Now, since that's 0, he doesn't need it. Divide by 8, 16 divided by 8, and he got y equals 2. Then he took, and it doesn't matter, we'll talk about this more, but he took this top equation and he wrote it again, 4x plus 3y equals 10, and he took what he knew y was and substituted it in. So 4x plus 3 times 2 is 10. 3 times 2, he got 6. Then you subtract 6 from both sides. So 4x equals 4. Divide by 4. X equals 1. And that's right. And then remember, x goes first, y goes second. So what did Diego do to solve the system? He added the two equations together, right? Added them together. Is the pair x, y, the values to Diego, found the solution? How do we know? So how do we know this is the solution to the problem? Well, you can simply substitute back in those numbers. 4 times 1 plus 3 times 2 without the equal. So just substitute them in the first part. And 4 times 1 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 plus 6 is 10. Did it equal 10 like it says it should? Yes. Substitute it into the other one also. Negative 4 times 1 plus 5 times 2. And evaluate that. Negative 4 times 1, 5 times 2 is 10. Negative 4 and 10 is a positive 6. Did it equal 6 like it said it should? Yes. So those two values are correct for both equations. So if you want to check to make sure that they're correct, they have to be correct in both equations. How do we know? You can substitute into original equations and check both equations, right? All right. So for your activity 2, use his method, and remember you can add the equations together or you can subtract, whichever one benefits you. So try A and B and see if you can get solutions to those. All right, hopefully you paused and tried those. Let's check your work. So when you're looking to see, can I use elimination on these? First, do you have a pair, either both x's or both y's have the same coefficient? So like 2x and x, I can't add or subtract, but positive y and negative y, I can. And if their signs are different, I'm going to want to add these two equations together. So 2x plus y would be 1y equals 4, and x, which is again 1x minus 1y equals 11. If I add those two equations together, 2x plus 1x, 3x, 1 and negative 1 add together, that's 0. Those eliminate. Equals 4 and 11 is 15. Now simply divide by 3, divide by 3. We know x equals 5. So there's half. Now you got to get y. So now take one of the equations and change the x to 5. So if I take the top one, it'd be 2x plus y equals 4. I'm going to substitute in the 5 for x and then solve. So 10 plus y equals 4. Subtract 10, y equals negative 6. So the solution should be 5, negative 6. To make sure that's right, you can substitute that in. 2 times 5 plus negative 6. 10 and negative 6 is 4. That checks out with that. And then x minus y would be 5 minus negative 6. 5 minus minus is 5 plus 6, which is 11, and that checks. So on B, if you haven't done B already, again, when you look at it, the x's line up to be eliminated. They both have 8s, but they're both positive. So this one, you're going to have to subtract the two equations. Don't add them, subtract straight down. So try that, pause if you haven't yet. If you already got it, keep going. Okay, so 8x plus 11y equals 37. 8x plus, again, I'm going to put the 1 there so I can equals 7. But this time I'm subtracting. 8 minus 8, 0. 11 minus 1, 10. Y equals 37 minus 7, 30. So from there, divide by 10, divide by 10, y equals 3. Just the first part of it, and remember that's your y, so go second. Now, when I look back up here, I can plug it back into the top equation or the bottom equation, but it seems like it'll be easier, since it's just a y here, to plug it into the second equation. 8x plus y, which is 3, equals 7. Minus 3. 8x equals 4. Be careful, a lot of people want to just look at that and say the answer would be 2. It's not. Divide by 8, x is actually 1/2. Not 2, 1/2. So x is 1/2, y is 3. And then you could plug those back in. We could do it mentally. Half of 8 is 4. 3 times 11 is 33. 4 plus 33 is 37. Again, half of 8 is 4, plus 3 is 7. Or you could do it by paper. All right, so turn the page. Activity 2, solve each without graphing, then check your solution. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, there are 4 of them. Pause and decide, do I want to add or do I want to subtract the two equations to eliminate one of the variables, and then solve from there. And when you're done, all right. So hopefully you decided these two, that it would be better to actually add them together because you have the two x's, one's positive, one negative. If you have different signs, same coefficient with different signs, you add together. 2x and negative 2x is 0. 3 plus 4, 7y equals 7 and 14 is 21. And then divide by 7, y equals 3. Pick an equation. I'm going to pick the top one because I don't want to mess with this negative right here. So I'm going to take this equation and change y to 3. So 2x plus 3y equals 7. Substitute in your 3 for y. So 2x plus 9 equals 7. Minus 9. 2x equals negative 2. Divide by 2, x equals negative 1. So remember, x first, negative 1, 3. There's the point that those two lines would intersect where they cross. Solve by elimination. So number 2, you should have seen 2x and 3x. You're not going to eliminate those. 3y, negative 3y. You can eliminate the y's. Since their signs are opposites, one's positive, one's negative, you want to add the two equations together. 2x plus 3x, you got 5x. 3y, negative 3y is 0. 7 plus 3 is 10. Divide the 5. X equals 2. Now, pick an equation. Again, I'm going to take the top one because everything's positive and change the x to 2. So it's 2x plus 3y equals 7. 2 for the x, right? Substitute in the 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 3y equals 7. Subtract 4 from both sides. 3y equals 3. Divide by 3, y is 1. So it should be 2, 1. And then you can check that solution. You probably do it kind of mentally. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. 6 minus 3 is 3. So they would both check. All right, look at number 3 and 4. If you haven't done those yet, try those. All right, so on number 3, hopefully you noticed that your x's match up. You add 2x and 2x since they're both positive, or if they were both negative, you would subtract both of them. So I'm going to subtract these two equations. So 2x minus 2x, 0. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. And 5 minus 9 is negative 4. Divide by negative 1. So y is 4. Pick the equation you want to use. So I'm going to use the top one. You're going to substitute in the y with 4. So 2x plus 3y equals 5. Y is 4. So 2x plus 12 equals 5. Subtract 12 from both sides. 2x equals negative 7. Divide by 2. Doesn't divide, so you can just leave it a fraction. You might put negative 3.5, but I'm going to leave it. X is negative 7 over 2. Just remember, you write the x first. Negative 7 over 2, 4. All right, so hopefully you're like, well, can't do number 4. And you can do number 4. You just can't do the method we've been talking about. This one doesn't match. Like, there's no x that matches up. There's no y that matches up. And this is really what the next lesson is all about. What do you do in this case? So, we're going to talk about more in depth, but to get them to match up, right, you are going to have to change one of these equations. And here, if you look, your x's 2 and 6, well, it's easy to multiply. You're going to have to use multiplication. It's easy to multiply to change this 2 to a 6, right? So they would be the same. Now here you have a 3 and a 5. Well, it's not easy to multiply the 3 to make a 5 or to multiply the 5 to make a 3. So, and we'll talk about more, 15 would be the number you would make there. But since this one's easy, I'm just going to multiply everything in this equation, everything, the 2, the 3, and the 16, by 3. And that way when I distribute, when I multiply everything times 3, I'm going to get 6x plus 3 times 3y is 9y equals 3 times 16 is 48. Now the bottom one is 6x minus 5y equals 20. So I'm not going to change it so that now I have those matching x's so I can subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. Be careful with this negative sign because you're subtracting. So it's 9 minus negative 5. And 9 minus negative 5 is actually plus 5 or 14. 48 minus 20 would be 28. Divided by 14 is 2. So if this one's more confusing to you, you're going to get more practice with it tomorrow or the next lesson. But you got y as 2, so you got to come back up. So let's use the top one. I'm going to change the y. So 2x plus 3y equals 16. And it'll be a 2 that's substituted in for y. So 2x plus 3 times 2 is 6 equals 16 minus 6. 2x equals 5. Or I'm sorry, 2x equals 10. I'm a step ahead, aren't I? 2x equals 10 divided by 2. X is 5. So your solution for this one, x, comma, y. 5, 2. All right, so we're not going to do the are you ready for more on page 108. So you should be now ready for the assignment for this section. Have a great day.